Good evening, financial fam. Another day, another Satoshi. Now we're out here celebrating, or maybe mourning, or maybe just chilling on your Memorial Day. As we know, most businesses are closed, but that's still another day to analyze our portfolio. Now, before we get started, as we always do, a little quality control. One Bitcoin currently sits at $8,842. Apparently, we had a very nice weekend. And $1 will net you at about 11,303 Satoshi. So the quest continues to see how many sats can we continually get with $1. Now, as we continue to sift through our prospects and build our draft boards and assemble a team that definitely suits us and it will perform for us, and a portfolio that will build wealth over time, right? You're always going to be inundated with either as we always know, FUD. I like to call it financial hazing, which basically I didn't coin it, but basically I kind of came up with it a couple years ago, where you have individuals and or investors who've been in the space for well over 5 years, right? So their experience and their intellect is not only much needed, but it's appreciated. Now, when you have these individuals who speak on certain projects because they don't like them, or maybe they don't fit in the realm or in the game plan of what they're doing, you can see the true natures of people. And of course, obviously this isn't to talk about anyone in particular, but it is to bring note that you can't necessarily hang on the word of anyone, regardless of how long or how little they've been in the space. You have to do what's best and circumstantial for you. Now, with that being said, I only say that to say there, even to this day in 2019, we still have people doubting Ripple, which is hilarious. There's almost a week that doesn't go by where we either have some new adoption and or some new news that's going on with Ripple. So my personal hypothesis, once you fully understand Ripple and what it's trying to do, you do realize that it's not necessarily here to usurp Bitcoin, but the investors who were in on Bitcoin, in the early 2013s, 2014s, when they're able to hoard up on so many of them and change their own wealth class in about, a decade, a little less than, they're almost seeing that being regurgitated, just with a different coin. So like I said, my personal hypothesis, it could be a little salt, a little envy, but that's neither here nor there. Without further shenanigans, I do want to talk about a coin I do own, not biased opinion, but it's XRP. Not only why it's here to stay, and it's almost nonsensical to doubt it, but where I feel it has the potential to be. Now, in previous videos, I've already gave predictions, so this definitely isn't a prediction video, but this is to quell any notions that it's going to disappear. Now, if we do more quality control, we can see Ripple currently is at 42 cents. I believe the last time it was around this price, if I'm not mistaken, was around the summertime of 2018, August 7th, if I'm not mistaken. And then it dropped even lower to around, not a quarter, a little over a quarter. So probably 0.2657. And that was around the 12th of September. So little, and that's, of course, as we all know, the big pull down, the huge retracement of 2018, right after Bitcoin hit post 20,000. Now, present day, Bitcoin is very near 9,000, and as we see, all of the alts are being dragged up with it as well. We're currently at a $17 billion market cap, with about $2.5 billion being traded within 24 hours. That is a lot. Now, for those of us who've never heard of XRP or Ripple, or who just keep on passing it, let us understand what it is. Now, it's a frictionless experience to send money globally, right? So across a connected network of financial institutions, banks, credit unions, payment providers, Visa, Amex, what's the other one? Capital One, basically to reduce the friction and the cost of sending payments internationally or anywhere in the world. Now, Currently, Ripple has offices in San Francisco, New York, London, Sydney, Luxembourg. I don't know why I thought they had one in. Excuse me. I'm thinking of Coinbase. Coinbase has one in Japan. Ripple has San Francisco, 1, 2, 3. Yep, New York, London, Sydney, and Luxembourg. So many offices with over in over 25 countries. Now, what is Ripple aiming to solve? What sets this apart from any other currency, and moreover, why do we even need it? Now, payment networks today, as we all know, whether you're bank or unbanked, they're very slow. It can take about 3 to 5 business days, I believe, to send a transaction. We all know the running adage in the crypto space: the fastest way, I believe, to send $10,000 to someone anywhere in the world is to put that $10,000 in a briefcase and fly there. So those 3 to 5 business days, in today's time, it's just way too long. It's expensive. I believe the estimated cost was approximately $1.6 trillion in annual cost of just sending payments. So that's crazy. And then 4% of all transactions, or all those transactions that's ran under Swift or any of those subsidiary protocols, they fail. So out of 104 of them aren't going to work. So that's not good at all. Now let's quell some of the notion that XRP isn't going anywhere because it doesn't have any backing. Okay. Firstly, I'm going to say, I'll call myself adept, as an adept investor and as a comfortable investor that's been in the crypto space for a while, I can honestly attest that out of the thousands of cryptocurrencies, not only is XRP one of the most adored, there are channels strictly and only dedicated for XRP. Now, I'm not saying that those respective channels aren't aware of any other coins or that they don't hold any coins, but they make it their business to solely speak on XRP, much like how some of the Bitcoin maximalists, the guys who were in 2011, 2012, how they only speak on Bitcoin and everything else is pretty much a farce. I don't necessarily think there are any XRP maximalists, but I do believe there's people who truly innately believe in XRP. And how can you not? XRP has over 200 listed partnerships, so it's kind of hard to say it's not going to do anything with over 200 listed partnerships. Now, of course, I cannot name all 200, certainly not in this video, but some very, very important ones that stuck out to me. We all know about the SBI. I think that kind of goes without saying. Super large Japanese financial institution, basically a brief synopsis, that started an exchange that the 3 main pairs are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. And so with those 3, and those, speaking of those 3, those coins are most coins on websites that have their own ticker to see how much they're trading. So that's a huge indicator that it's really not going anywhere. Now let's talk about where are some interesting partnerships. Okay, here's one I've never heard of called Qualix, right? Oh yeah, I'll pull up the white paper as well. Oh, sidebar, the best way to find out about any currency, be it someone's informing you about it, you want to inform yourself about it, always look at the white paper. Always. That's like the how you say, the syllabus. So you never go wrong with the white paper. But anyway, Qualix is based in the US and Mexico, and it's a financial institution that provides credit and payment processing solutions. So basically they offer credit loans, secure loans, car insurance, and mainly, of course, they focus on international payment processing. So as we spoke on before, if you're trying to send someone some money in the Philippines or Thailand or something. Now they're also a member of Swift. Swift for the last I don't know how long has been in control of payment processing and sending payments, and XRP, if they're not looking to usurp, they're definitely looking to work with Swift to just make everything far more efficient than what it really is. Now, Qualix was one of the first companies to use XRapid last year, and they're joining RippleNet They joined RippleNet 2 years ago in 2017. Now the CFO, excuse me if I butcher the name, but Nikolai Nicholas Policy has stated that XRapid is the fastest and it's faster and more transparent than Swift. So, 1 out of 200 positive testimonies certainly is a good thing. Now, if we want to look at another partnership, we can look right here in the United States, a Texas-based financial institution, Catalyst Corporate Federal Credit Union. They are used by over 1,400 U.S. credit unions alone are working with XRapid. So that's not even major like news. That's something no one's really talking about. So they're working on a new service, Currents with a Z at the end, which will use XRP, and it will focus on Mexico payment channel. So it really looks like Mexico's really in on this cryptocurrency thing, especially with BitMEX. But now at the Swell conference, for those of us who were knowledgeable of it or who went, I believe it was October of 2008 of last year. Bill Clinton was in attendance as well as some others. But the senior VP, Brad Gainey, heavily critiqued current payment methods internationally, seeing as they're too cumbersome. So it goes back to what we're saying, they take far too long, and there's a 4% chance it may not even go through. So is that a chance that you would want to take? Now let's look into some more notable partnerships that if we don't know about, we've certainly heard about, right? So MoneyGram, global money transfer service to people who are unbanked or banked or unbanked rather. They partnered back in early 2018, so probably January of as soon as 2018 started, and they have plans to use XVIA, and they're still testing XRapid. Now, much like MoneyGram, another company, Western Union. Now, how many of us have used Western Union or received something from Western Union, right? Very similar to MoneyGram, just a business aiming at cross-border payments for individuals, small businesses, and corporations. Now, in 2017, Western Union moved over $300 billion around the world in over 200 countries. So basically, $1/3 of $1 trillion was moved in 1 year just by Western Union alone. And I can only imagine the amount of fees that was charged for those $300 billion. The CEO, Hikmet Ersef, claimed that XRapid tests didn't produce any significant cost savings. And quickly, a Ripple executive pointed out that they only sent 10 payments. So I thought that was pretty funny. And it also kind of makes me think that is Western Union are they more going through the motions with this? Or are they truly interested? Because this could very like I said, usurp a lot of their fees, and that's how they make their money. So a cool thing to counter what the CEO of Western Union said, head of compliance and operations of a bank in Europe, to be more specific, the Euro Exim Bank, stated that global payments look to be a $2 trillion industry by next year. So by 2020, global payments is looking to be a $2 trillion industry. That's insane. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that. But it's still hampered by fees, fraud, speed, regulation, and banking relationships, just to name a few. So not necessarily sure what the CEO of Western Union is on. Definitely looking out for his bottom line. Can't be mad at that. But you also have to be cognizant of where digital payments is going. Now, this isn't to be taken with a grain of salt, because the head of compliance has worked with Swift for about 20 years, I believe, and they're just now saying how they're more looking to segue towards Ripple and XRapid, or XCurrent, excuse me, and they were actually the first bank to use XRapid, so I think that was pretty cool. Now, with many of the different softwares that Ripple has, I would say XCurrent is probably one of the first adopted. Is basically just a software that provides an API based messaging and transaction settlements based on any open neutral protocol for value between ledgers. So basically it's just that software that allows you to send the XRP. No recent events at least not as of yet, are coming up. There's one event on the 6th and 7th of June. I guess just a developers conference. So whether they're going to network or meet new people or even try to hire better people, I think that's going to be pretty fun. It's in Berlin. Let's see. I don't think I remember any notable news from Brad Garlinghouse, excuse me. But XRP, yeah, it's fun. The genesis of me getting XRP was nerve-wracking because you saw the market cap and the low price, but it seemed as all of the investors shied from it because it immediately tied itself to banks. Now, I will say I don't mind reiterating this because I do believe it to be true. Banks aren't going anywhere, but they are going to transform. So you're still going to need, a place to still house your funds without malicious intent, without taking your funds and charging for you. That's still going to be a place. It's just going to transform. So I believe XRP is just transforming the way banks operate and basically holding them to a higher standard. Now, as we said earlier, it's sitting at 42 cents, which is still pretty high, and it's not off a pullback. That's actually, it looks like it's trying to find a sideways movement as Bitcoin goes parabolic. Total crypto market, we're about $273 billion. It was at 280, I believe, early this morning. So we're wrapping up the second quarter as we're entering the third quarter. I'm very, very, very eager, not just to see what the crypto market does, but XRP in general. Every time I wake up and get news, it's almost like a win. And I believe the most important thing I can impart on today's video, regardless of XRP or any other cryptocurrency, other than doing your own research, is standing very firm in your beliefs and your first guesses. You chose the currency to invest in for a reason. Do not let anyone, do not let me, tone base, don't let anyone sway you from attaining your financial freedom, because it is yours and it does belong to you. All right, fam, that's it. That was today, or really, that was today's first scouting video for XRP. One I feel like will be very, very promising. I eagerly wait to come back to this a year and a half from now, just to see where the price sits and rests at. So that being said, you guys enjoy your Memorial Day barbecue, swim, work out, do all that fun stuff, and I will see you in the playoffs.